So for these series, you're going to want to be on a smooth surface so that the towel is able to glide and move. Now, in your home, there's probably more spaces where you have wooden floors or tiled floors. Wooden floor is best because it's smooth. Tiles have a little bit of the bumpies, but it's still possible. But in the hotel room, sometimes it's all carpeted. But where I find there's that tile section is right in the front when you enter the room. So that's where I've done it sometimes. Or else in the bathroom. So I'll have the chair outside of the bathroom, and then I'll put the towel inside the bathroom where there's the smooth floor so that it can slide. Otherwise, it doesn't really work to do this series on carpet. For this sequence, you're going to need a towel, a hand towel, and a chair. The chair is optional, but I think you'll find that it really helps to give you a little support for the work that we're going to be doing. It's a lot of lower body, and it provides some good balance so that you can do the work really well and focus on form. So the first thing I want us to do is to do some foot scrunchies. You're going to open up that hand towel, and you're going to stand right in the middle of it. And we're going to work on squeezing and clenching the towel with the feet, and then spreading it away and opening up the toes. We'll do that a couple times. So engage the toes, the arches, squeeze and crumple the towel, and then stretch it and spread it. We'll just do that a couple more times. So squeeze in and spread. I'm just going to mimic here with my hands what the feet are doing. And squeeze and spread one more time. And squeeze and spread. Then what I want you to do here, I'll straighten out my towel so you can see. I want you to start to do a little bit of pulling apart and pushing together. It's more isometric than it is actual big movement, but you will see a little reflection of that energy in the towel. So first thing, you want to feel equal and balanced. Then we're going to pull the legs apart, trying to stretch the towel, making sure that we're not letting the legs turn in or the knees roll out. Yeah, so we're just doing it very subtle. From the center, from the zero, you're just going to gently pull apart, enough to turn on the whole outer edges of your legs from the hips all the way down to the feet. Then you're going to want to squeeze in. And again, squeezing in without overdoing it at the knees and without overdoing it at the feet. So coming back to center, doing a nice even squeeze in from the upper thighs all the way down to the inner edges of the feet. And we'll do a few rounds of that. So we're going to pull apart and then squeeze in and pull apart and squeeze in. For those of you who maybe lock the knees or have hyperextension, you might want to bend the knees just a little bit, contract the hamstrings, and then continue to pull and squeeze. You might feel now different muscles are available to you with that little bend. And squeeze one more time. And pull, you'll see the towel maybe stretching a little bit, and then squeeze. Come back to neutral, and then let that settle for a breath. Now we're going to take the towel, and we're going to fold it in half. That way you don't have so much excess. And you're going to set that towel right behind your chair. We're going to stand on it with the right foot. Initially, I'm going to use the chair back for some support. Organizing, I've got nice energy in my legs now that we warmed up. I want to make sure that my pelvis is neutral, so I'm going to feel a little zipping up through the front of my belly, pubic bone up to belly button, and I'm letting the tailbone just drip down. Then I'm having that balance in my rib cage, so the front ribs are settling in, the back ribs are staying broad, and then finding the balance in the chest and the upper back, keeping the chest open and the back active so that the shoulder blades have a little more connection inward. From here, we're going to just brush the leg back till it's extended at the hip. Try to keep the knee as straight as you can, and then bring it forward. So the first one might be a little bit of a smaller range depending on how tight you might be in the quad or the hip flexors. You're going to brush back and then pull it back under. A tendency here will be to let the back go. So again, keep that zipper up in the front, keep the tail dripping in the back so that it's just the leg, you're moving at the hip. One more time, brush and then stay here. Now we add a heel lower to stretch the calf. Stay here for an inhale. Exhale, lift up. Bring it back under. Repeating that a few times. We're going to brush and lower and lift and squeeze. Meanwhile, the standing leg, that left leg is nice and strong, keeping grounded through the floor, supporting the movement of the right leg. Brush and melt the heel into the floor. Keep the hips lifted in the front. Lift and center. One more. Brush and lower. So you're melting that back heel, bending the front leg. Then lift and center. And all of that can be done without using the chair. You can just bring the arms up right in front of you. Let's do the left side. So repeating that same sequence, we're going to first brush the leg back. Push through the ball of the foot. Really feel the ball of the foot down into the floor. And then pull the leg back under you. So again, we're keeping that lift in the front of the pelvis, the drip down through the tailbone, and then bring it back. The standing leg is feeling grounded without locking or hyperextending. And under you, one more time, brush, lift up in the front, and bring the legs back under you. Adding the calf stretch here, we brush. Roll through the foot to melt the heel to the ground. Add a bend to the front leg. Lift up, brush it under. Couple more, and brush. Lower, lift, center, and brush. Lower, lift, center. Last one, brush. Lower, lift, and center. Now you're going to bring the towel back to the right leg again. It's going to get a little more challenging here. So we take from our brush, we slide back further. So now we end up in a high lunge or low lunge, just depending on where you can manage it at the moment. Each day is going to be a little different. So listen to your body and figure out where can you take it without strain, without gripping. And now you want to feel strength through both legs, pushing down into the floor and squeezing in so that you can come right back up to that standing position. So scoop down and out through the floor to feel that. Spread into the lunge. Inhale. Exhale, bring it up. You can do this without the chair. It's a little more challenging. And exhale, brush back. Tracking that front knee in parallel, making sure that knee is just about over the ankle or the arch. And then this one, you gotta really ground down through the floor to squeeze in and up. One more time. Sink down. Back leg very active, strong in the hamstring, strong in the glutes. And then squeeze to come up. We'll add one more here and stay down in this one. I'm going to support on the chair, holding the chair back. We're going to lift, flexing the left foot, place it down. 3 more. Lift, lower. You're going to feel more challenge into the glutes, hamstrings, and quads. Lift, lower. Now it's going to be a heel lift. Lower, lift, lower. 2 more. Lift, lower, lift, and lower. Squeeze in to come up. We slide back one more time. We're going to bend the back knee, taking it towards the ground, and then straightening it up. Inhale, bend. Exhale, squeeze that right glute hamstring connection to straighten. 2 more. Bend. Straighten, keep that pelvis lifted through the front, tailbone dripped in the back, and straighten. Squeeze it all the way back up and together. And settle here for a breath. Left side. So move that towel over. Get organized, get your bearings for this side. And we slide the left leg back. Then we slide back even further to find our lunge. So here, I like to think that this sit bone is really dropping down to the floor. This front knee is reaching forward. So I've got this opposition going on through that front thigh. Then, pulling it up, up, up. 3 more. Sink back. Reach through the back heel, ground through the ball of the foot, and come up. So the challenge is to keep this hip back and not let it twist forward as you try to come up. 1 more, and sink back. Stay heavy in that right sit bone, keep the right hip back, and then scoop those legs together to come up. Going back again, we're going to stay this time. Holding there, you're going to lift the right foot, the toes and the ball of the foot, and lower, and lift, lower, keeping that square alignment in the pelvis. Lift and lower, heel lift, lift, lower, and lift. Lower, 2 more, lift, lower and lift, lower, and then sinking down to come up. We go back again. This time holding the lunge, we lower the back knee towards the floor, whatever amount that you're able to, and straighten. Lower and straighten. 2 more. Lower. Using the chair for support, lower, and now squeeze that back glute, hamstring to help you up, and then sink down through that right hip to come up and back to the center. So we slide the foot back, going back into our lunge position. For this one, let's bring the arms up, clasp the elbows. And now we're going to reach towards the chair, lean towards the chair, and then come up. And lean towards the chair, and come up. So you want to hinge at the hips here. Try not to round at the spine. Try not to round the back. Let's do 1 more. And reach, come up, and stand all the way back to the starting position. Left side. Slide back into the lunge. Hold this position. Again, lifting the front of the pelvis, squaring, keeping it all level. The alignment of the front leg is important. The strength in the back leg is important. Holding the elbows, hinge forward and back. Moving right at the hip joint, forward, back, finding that crease, forward, back. As you go forward, your sits bones go back. Up, 1 more time. Forward, back. You can use the chair here to come up, back to center.